I'm doing my PhD at the University of Canterbury. I'm looking at the population dynamics of emperor penguins, so how the populations are changing over time in the Ross Sea.
I'm an oceanographer, which means I study the ocean itself rather than the life in it. And I specialise in ocean that is under floating ice.
I cover just about everything that there is to cover on climate. I write the daily grind pieces on the emissions trading scheme auctions, as well as sort of big feature pieces on climate and sustainability.
What I really love is just the huge expanses of white. You know you're looking at the ocean, but it's an ocean like nowhere else.
Emperor penguins are like insane. It's minus 50 degrees Celsius and they're like huddling together, keeping a little egg warm and like smashing it. Like they're doing so well. And it's just humans coming along and ruining it for them.
An alarming drop off the cliff. That's how scientists have described this year's record low sea ice in Antarctica.
This year, about 8 New Zealanders are missing.
To see that drop and then such a precipitous drop in 2023, that was really quite overwhelming and really startling.
I was part of a panel discussion where we talked about the sea ice and the algae and the emperor penguins and how they each are impacted by climate change. I was surprised at how emotional I got towards the end of the talk. I had 4 slides to go and I was sobbing and I was like, no, this is not what a scientist does.
Dread, I think, is the word that I kind of found to be most accurate. It's still getting worse, and there doesn't seem to be quite enough of a concrete plan to stop it from getting worse anytime soon.
I have a baby, I have a child, and the idea that I don't know what his world is going to look like, what that means for our children, is like the bit that keeps me up at night. That's the scariest part for me.
Eco-anxiety is very rational given the circumstances we find ourselves in. Recognizing that actually those emotions are okay to have, I think is an important step.
I certainly am in a better place about it than I used to be because I can recognise that I'm having a more positive impact. But for me, I'm always wondering, what else could I be doing?
I feel like if I get in the room with the right people, we will be able to make something happen.
I think there's more cause to be positive than there used to be. We've actually been fortunate to see the development of solutions to a lot of our climate problems, but it's a question of pace, and pace requires sort of political willpower.
Who I really feel for are the sort of younger people who don't really have the agency and they're relying on us who do. It's not something that I would choose to do, to hand the problem on to them, but I know that as the younger people put power behind the policies that they see as necessary, I know that I'll see change in my lifetime.
Well, that's up. I found that uplifting, actually. If the experts can see light at the end of the tunnel, that makes me feel a bit better.
It's good, yeah. It's like we sort of have a lot of the technology that we're going to need to solve these problems. Just got to work out how to get more people using it. Yeah.
Political will.
And I think that kind of understanding climate change for a lot of people was challenging when its effects don't feel tangible or real to some people. You know, even me, I was like, what is climate? I'm not a penguin. I live in Antarctica. I don't see the ice melting. But then back home in Raglan, where I'm from, the coastal erosion there, because of the excess winds and floods and weather, has just been out of control. We've had to move the surf club. People have had to move their houses because the beach is just slowly disappearing.
Yeah, there's West Coast and East Coast.
Yeah.
Hey, good time to shout out to the journalists doing the work as well. When you choose to spend your life, whether it's researching climate change or online extremism, or you put your hand up during the COVID pandemic to try and do the right thing and you've got to wear all that brutality that comes with it, thanks very much for doing the mahi.